Is Jordan kind of like the main reason why you became a realtor?
Dude, I mean, yeah, a huge reason. Because to be honest, I was doing very well at my previous job.
For people that don't grow up with that assurance in themselves, they think that asking for help is like demeaning. He could lie to you and make you feel like succeeding in this industry is like super easy and all by association, like, oh, you know, if you know someone, you're gonna be successful. But that is not the case.
No.
Because you can know someone and that person that you know will still go with somebody else because you haven't gone through a process. And that's where I'm getting at. I think the wisdom is when you go through a process, you're prepared to sustain the success that comes next.
Yeah. You pay your dues.
That's another way to put it. Hello, in this episode, I sit down with Brandon Coppel. Brandon Coppel is a newer real estate agent. And by new, I mean he's been doing this for about 3 years. But he's very determined, very committed. He's being mentored actually by, I would say, arguably the best real estate agent in Remax. Well, according to the numbers, that is Jordan Cohen. He's being mentored by him. He's doing a really great job of farming his area in Agoura Hills. And he is just and his goals, dreams, and aspirations that I know will definitely inspire you, whatever stage of real estate you are in. I hope you enjoy this conversation. I grew up very humble beginnings. You see me and my brother, Freddie.
I do.
I don't know if you've met my brother, Josh and David.
Have not, but one of them is like the extra, the realtor, right?
Yeah.
Are they both realtors?
They're both realtors.
Yeah.
So at one point, bro, it was me, my brother, Freddie, both Josh and David, my mom, my dad, and my grandma. We were all renting a room. And we're all living in that room.
That's
so
crazy.
Yeah, like there was someone that my dad knew from church, and I don't like to say we fell on hard times because we were always on hard times. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, but that was my youth. That was me growing up. That was us growing up. And so, growing up this way, you know, not having kind of role models to look up to financially speaking. It just kind of, there are a lot of things that you grew up not knowing, right? So, because there's a lot of things that you learn by association.
Sure.
So, right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm going to learn something.
Sure.
Growing up with my friends, I'm going to learn something.
Sure.
So I would go around because we had to move a lot. So it would be hard for me to build a relationship with people because we would be constantly moving. Right? Because something would happen here, so we'd go somewhere else.
You can't really plant your roots.
Yeah. And so there was a lot that I didn't learn growing up. So you're asking me right now what part of the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to continue to learn. I want to I'm very curious. Like I want to continue to learn.
Dude, I feel like each person you have in this chair, you're like, it's great. You're gonna all different walks of life. You're gonna hear different stuff from each person.
Yeah.
I'm sure all different ages too.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
And everybody's so different. And exactly what you're saying, like it's a mixture because, you know, I've had Angel Garcia, who's like probably 5 years younger than me. Keith Myers came by like 2 weeks ago. You know, he's in a different stage than I am.
Yeah.
You know, so and also awesome, you know, women that I'm learning from. So it's just so many different people. You're right.
Damn, so you got like 15 episodes in. I'm like 16. How many are you gonna do until you launch?
Well, I'm trying to do at least 25 because what I don't want is for
any gap of inconsistency.
Yeah, because that's annoying. Yeah,
that's the hardest part.
That's annoying.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Even when I was doing like videos and stuff, like we would crank out, 10 videos or so. Mm-hmm. The production's great, but me personally, the way I sound, what I say, I like about 4 or 5 of them at the most.
Yeah.
And then boom, we got to go back into the studio because, you post them.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, like doing like 25 of them.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, 1 a week?
Something like that. Yeah, like 1 a week. So, I don't know the order just yet. You know, this could say episode number 8 or episode number whatever. Just depends kind of, how we order things. But, it's the way that I see things now is everything has to be a business, right? Like everything, you have to treat things like a business.
Sure.
So even this, I'm treating it like a business. Like even though I'm obviously using it to market, like we'll have a conversation and then you'll have a commercial break to, different things. but if I don't treat this like a business, I don't think I'll squeeze the potential that I possibly can, even in this.
Yeah. So is the goal with the podcast? What is the goal with the podcast? Like, is it to build it up so you have enough followers and then you can make money on ads? Like, what's the goal? Because you kind of run a whole media company. Yeah. Like, why venture into this?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I built up Home Sweet Home Productions, and we've been doing that for like 10 years. I've learned a lot there, and we continue to build that up, and we have teams and we have systems that obviously continues to go there. And then, we built other businesses as well. I'll be completely honest with you.
Yeah, bro. I want to hear it. Let's get to the good shit.
I'll be completely honest with you, bro. Like, I'm a God-fearing man. Sure. And everything that I do, I like to, pray about it, and I like to get God's direction for my life, right? And I'm not saying that, God speaks to me with an audible voice.
Of course.
Like, bro, start a podcast. I'm not saying that, but yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. But I like to pray about things, and I like to, read the Bible, and I like to kind of get guidance for my future there. So, I believe that in this time, I can't tell you, bro, like there is a something, I can tell you like the spiritual answer. Like the spiritual answer is, I believe that God is just leading me to do this.
So you got a feeling that I should be making a podcast, and I'm going to go all in with it.
Well, I'm going to pray about it first.
Of course.
And I'm going to ask God to confirm it, and give me peace and give me assurance, right? Because before God sends me to do something, he'll give me peace, right? I could be like, unsure, and I could be like, struggling with like, I don't see exactly how this is really going to help. I don't see the end goal here. I don't see that. But I'm called to move by faith. And so what that means is if he asks me to do something, even though I don't know where I'm going to land or exactly what this is going to end up in, I'm going to move and I'm going to do it.
Yeah, dude. That's like some superpower stuff right there. I wish I could get some of that.
You can.
No, yeah. It's interesting because like, I'm not really a religious type, but I do know other realtors that are in the business that truly base everything off what, their relationship with God, and gives them faith. And honestly, it gives them a little bit more peace of mind during stressful times.
Well, and I think, bro, that is very much needed right now.
Yeah, it's tough right now. No question. But it's interesting, like how people can, their relationship with God, not to get all religious, but like how it truly helps people. There's no question about it, who live by it. So that's very cool, man.
Well, that's exactly it. And you said it right. It's who live by it. And the thing is that, it's not some sort of mystical thing. Like, what do you do? Like, meditate, and you just like, I respect everybody, however they do their own thing. But what I'm saying is, it's as simple as, I believe that God created me, and he didn't just throw me somewhere and said, figure it out. I believe that he is my father. And so I can pray to him, and I can connect to my father. And just like a good father would guide his son. See, I just told you earlier about growing up in lack, growing up in kind of poverty. And so when you don't have a father that you're close to, or that can guide you, or it's what happens is that there's a lot of empty areas. You're like an unfinished man in a lot of different areas. And so, but what you do have is you have a Heavenly Father that you can ask questions to. You could be like, I need help in this. I need help in that. And I believe that he makes a way. So sometimes it comes in the form of me having a conversation with someone across from me. Sometimes it comes in the form of I'm reading the Bible and it clearly says something that stands out. Sometimes it comes out in the form of I'm praying and I get this idea, right? It just comes out in different ways.
100%. You just got to keep your eyes open for it, right?
And the point is, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
See, the point is like what you were saying. You said like it actually helps people. 100% it does, because at the end of the day, we all have this search for meaning. We all have this search for like, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I leading my wife the right way? Am I leading my kids the right way?
Yeah.
Am I doing what I need to do in business to get more business? Like, I've come to understand that God is interested in me becoming wealthy. Like, he wants me to become more wealthy than I want to become wealthy, right? But I'm understanding that there is righteous wealth and then there's unrighteous wealth, right? Unrighteous wealth is like cutting corners, ripping people off, doing things that are kind of crooked, taking advantage of different things that in the long term aren't beneficial for me and aren't beneficial for human beings, aren't beneficial for people, society. So,
damn, Pablo.
Yeah.
That's some good shit. I love it. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I feel like when you have clarity on stuff like that, it makes you move easier.
Everything makes sense. Yeah.
Completely.
Even when it doesn't.
Yeah. Because you have something on your on your shoulder saying you just gotta keep moving, right?
Well, bro, and like right now, I mean, a lot of stuff doesn't make sense. Like as a realtor, bro, I was just having a conversation with someone who's telling me their business is 50% down.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's moving. I saw Keith earlier today.
Yeah.
At the office. I go, hey Keith, how's it going? And he's good. I go, dude, I'm scratching and clawing right now to get something going. I go, are you feeling the same way? He goes, we all are. Yeah. So like, I do know that for a fact,
Mm-hmm.
There's no question about it. It's just part of the cycles, I feel like, of the market.
And that's what it is, bro. Like, so, and it's interesting that you would do that because what you're essentially doing is you're like a young king reaching out to a sage and being like, hey, is everything going to be all right? Because this is kind of uncertain. Have you done this before? And then the sage turns around and tells you, listen, you know, we've been here before. Just keep going.
Yeah. It's almost, you got to hear the words from the people above right now to kind of give you comfort, because you're right, dude. Like getting started in the business.
Oh, man.
Getting started in the business, the market was crazy. Like you go to open house or you work open houses, you're going to meet people and meet buyers. No problem. Like it was active. Dude, now it's like so much slower. It like went from 100 to 0, like quickly. Interest rates tripled, inventory's less. You're fighting for every appointment, you're trying to get opportunities to sit open houses, and it's kind of dried up. So like, what can you do? Well, you just, the voice in my head is saying you just got to double down. You got to knock more doors. You got to make more calls. You got to talk to more people. And I feel, and then you learn as you go, it's like the market. Some markets require more work than others to achieve the same result. Make sense?
100%. And here you are speaking someone that, how many years do you have in the business? Like full time?
Full time in April. In April, it'll be 4.
4 years. Exactly, bro. Like, this is your first, like really
real cycle.
Yeah, real cycle. Well, actually, I mean, because you came from, what year did you start? You said
2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like the peak. Everything's like selling right away.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah, everything's selling right away. If you have a sphere of influence, if you're kind of already entrenched, and if you already know people that want to sell their home, there's a lot of them.
That's right. That's right. Or if you want to find buyers, there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
I mean, remember multiple offers on all these homes.
Yeah.
Buyers felt like they needed to work with a listing agent at the open house so they can get some leg in the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're a newer agent, it was bread and butter to sit open houses. That's how I sold my first home.
Yeah.
It was not my listing. I sat in open house.
Yeah.
And you got to know enough to be a little dangerous in there. Yeah. And a buyer didn't have an agent, wanted to work with the listing agent, and I was holding the open house. So he had me write the offer. And that's how I sold my first home. Now it's like there's less opportunities.
Yeah.
No question.
And the opportunities that are available, the more experienced agents are all over it.
You got to be more skillful.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, and I feel for you, bro, because I mean, especially if this is like your only thing.
Only thing, all in, 100%.
If you're all in and you don't have like another business, or you don't have like a 9 to 5, maybe not 9 to 5, but maybe like a 9 to 11 or like a 8 to 10 at nighttime or whatever,
dude.
Like it's tough.
Dude, that's why like every social media post, Pablo, when I sell a home, like I mean it when I type it that I'm grateful for these opportunities. Like seriously, like I'm grateful for the opportunity to interview,
bro.
And then it's on me to win that interview.
Yeah.
But
100%.
for when a friend calls me and says, "Hey man, me and my wife, we're gonna buy a home. You're our guy. We like to like, Brand, can you take us out? Can you like that means a lot. You know what I mean? They're actually choosing to work with me and because they believe in me that I'm gonna get the job done. And so that's all you can ask for from your friends and family to at first to have faith in you to do that.
100%.
And then when you deliver and deliver and deliver, word starts to go around. And I'm very fortunate to say that I've helped a lot of my friends now.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Bro, but that's what it is, bro. Like right now as you're speaking, it's like you're stubborn in the fact that you're going to provide value. Like no matter what, you're stubborn in the fact that you're not going to quit. You're not going to give up. You're like, you got to have that like stubbornness, man. Like,
yeah. I mean, because why else would someone want to work with you?
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully.
Yeah.
Why would anyone want to work with you if they don't either think that you're going to bring value, you're going to negotiate the best deal, you're going to work your ass off, you're going to keep all lines of communication? When you buy a home, and like, I'm not trying to tangent, but when you buy a home, that escrow period is a very tense, could be tense period where they're going through the biggest purchase of their life or they're selling off the biggest asset of their life. You as the agent are the one that's taking them through that. Okay, so what does that mean? You got to be like on speed dial, like ready to answer any questions to make sure, because they don't know what they're doing and it's a big deal. So how do you like convey that value to them so that they want to go down that journey with you, right?
Yeah.
And when you're newer in the business, the uphill battle is even greater against someone who's got experience.
And the uphill battle, like I think begins in your mindset, bro, because, you know, here you are 4 years in the business and really, dude, like, and you just got married, right?
I did.
Bro, that's sick, dude. What month did you say?
September.
Just so how many months ago? Like 3-4 months ago?
Yeah, 3 months.
Get out of here,
It
bro.
was great, man.
Really?
Great fucking wedding.
Really?
Dude, we had everyone we wanted to be there, all of our friends, family. Like, it was like, we woke up the next morning, we were like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, we truly felt like everyone wanted to be there for us.
Big, bro.
And it's a special day.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, dude.
Dude, it was great, man. And then we went on a honeymoon, went to Europe, and that was great. We did 2 weeks in Europe. And dude, now we're back to you know, you wake up with a little bit different purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Now that you're married. Now you got your ring on your, you know, you carry yourself a little bit different. I like
you walk into listing appointments, you put your hand right there.
Yeah.
That's sick, bro. Man, but you're right. Like you have, it's a different, your why changes.
A little bit. Yeah, dude. And you know, it's interesting. Like, dude, when you get in it kind of makes you be a little older when you're talking to you know, parents or
more established, man. You're
a little bit more established, you know.
This guy,
got a little bit more street cred to yourself.
Bro. Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
Or house cred.
Or house cred. Not got a little more house cred, literally. Family cred.
A little more fam cred. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, but you know, it's because they want to see a young man be married. Yeah. They want to see a young woman be married.
And in a lot of ways, bro, I think what happens is that these people, a lot of them, I mean, if you own a home, like you've been successful at some point, like you're success, you know, it's been tough. But I'm saying that to a certain extent, you probably remind them of, you know,
when they were
at that stage.
Dude, it's great. It's great. My parents are both married.
Yeah.
Still to this day, kind of grew up that, you know, that's what you want to do.
That's awesome.
Get married, have a family.
No way.
Provide for your family.
That's awesome, bro.
Do well.
Wow.
You know?
So you think that your parents and their relationship shaped the way that you...
No question.
Really?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I want to do with my
you
kids,
know,
man.
I was told, like, growing up, from either other parents, you got great parents.
Yeah.
Man, they did a good job with you. They, you know, great parents. Yeah. And so I kept that with me. So like they kind of gave me the roadmap of how I want to be towards my kids. You know?
Sick, bro.
Yeah. Fortunate.
Not everyone can say. Actually,
No,
very few people can say that.
Very fortunate. I got blessed with great fucking parents, dude.
Really, bro? That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is your dad a business owner as well, or is he?
No, he's a banker. Works for City National Bank. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he lived the life of very conservative, risk adverse. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He is not a guy that's going to go take risks. Yeah. So when I told him, and I said, hey, Dad, you know, I was working at ADP, payroll company, fresh out of college. Yeah. Got my, you know, salary plus commission, but benefits, 401k, you know, all that shit that goes with
2001.
Yeah.
2020.
All that corporate stuff that goes into, you know, your paycheck. You get security.
Sure.
Benefits.
Sure.
I said, Dad, I think I'm going to get into real estate. Obviously, I told him that, you know, my relationship with Jordan, and he's given me an opportunity to talk to him. And I was like, Dad, I really think so. And he was like, you're going to give up your 401k? Like, he was just like, he's nervous about you're going to be all commission. How are you going to make your money? Da, 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 da. But, you know, fast forward now, he's like so happy that I made the move to real estate. He can't even believe it. He's so happy. You know, he's like, you're actually doing it. Like, I'm like, I don't need to worry. You know, he's always worried. So it's
that's sweet, man. That's how I want to be with my kids, man. Like, no matter what they choose, bro. Like, if they choose to entrepreneur route, if they choose, you know what, to be a banker, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm learning as I'm having different conversations with people. I'm like, dude, like, I can't, you know, this is my life, you know, and, you know, I'm going to live it to, you know, the fullest. And, you know, I'm going to, you know, continue, you know, to bring the best I can bring to the marketplace, to my family. You know, but if my children decide a different route, you know, then, you know, I'm going to bless them and I'm going to support. I'm going to be here for support.
Bro, completely, dude. Like, he doesn't put pressure on me to do or follow anything. Like, he's just there for support. You know, like, okay. This is like, I'm going to give you a piece of advice that, you know, okay. When I played sports, I was pretty good at sports. You know, some dads are like, my kid, I'm gonna get you in, you know, practice after practice. You're gonna be getting training and like even at the games, you should have passed it to, you know, Zach, and you should have really tried to score that goal. Why didn't you think like that? You know, all that bullshit. Dude, my dad was never really an athlete, and I kind of was growing up. I had that, you know, skill going on, but he didn't have the cred to tell me that I should think like this or anything. So he just played supporter mode. It was the best thing for me and him as our relationship. He was just like more of a fan of rather than trying to critique.
Rather than a coach?
Yeah, and he doesn't need to coach. And dude, I'm telling you, it was such a good, it made me feel, it made me be able to lock in on my coach. And then, you know, because some dads like to tell
they're like,
their kid.
Coach part 2.
Exactly, bro. And that's, and
everything I didn't accomplish, I want you to do, I'm living through you.
Yeah, dude. So I'm going to try, if I have kids that, you know, girl or boy that are, you know, athletic.
I'm
really not going to try to coach them. Like, I'm really going to let them, I mean, I'll try to give them some stuff, but by no means, he doesn't need to feel like I'm his coach.
Do you think it's also like, it also comes down to personalities, because maybe some kids, they want to be coached, or I've never heard this perspective. Dude, it's really interesting.
It's like, you don't want to, I mean, I didn't want to hear from my dad. You know what I mean? Like, I have a coach. Yeah. That, you know, like I
because you already have a coach and he's a good coach.
Yeah, and he's a good coach. He's a coach for a reason. Yeah. My dad, he just support me. Just you know,
support me.
Just
That's
tell
good,
me, you know, if I fucked up, like he should have said, just flush that. Yeah. Just, you know, whatever.
Move forward.
But he doesn't need to tell me that I need to pass there and do that there. Yeah. He never did that to me. Yeah. Ever. Yeah. And honestly, like, thank God I'm happy he didn't, because we never knocked heads during growing up and playing sports. Never knocked heads. Yeah. It was always, you did amazing. You know, or you did this, you did that. It was never trying to critique me, you know?
Well, that shows a healthy individual that's, you know, not trying to live through their children, that doesn't have like, because I think what happens is that, you know, a lot of men grow up with like, kind of like, do you say, is that how you say it? Chip on your shoulder? Like,
sure.
Like with
an edge.
Regrets, like something that they wish they would have done. And so now they try to, project that upon their kids.
Sure, and, but there's a way of going about it. Like, if you regret something, like, say I never got into real estate, I stayed in ADP, corporate whole life. Yeah, and then I see my son or my daughter have a real opportunity to learn from someone who's a realtor or a business owner. Yeah, and I regret looking back not have taken that chance. I would do everything in my power to get them to consider that. Yeah, but that's different than, oh, you should have passed there. What were you thinking? Next game, you got to do this. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different.
That's interesting. Is Jordan kind of like the main reason why you became a realtor?
Dude, I mean, yeah, a huge reason. Because to be honest, I was doing very well at my previous job.
The ADP.
I graduated college and I went to ADP, and I was doing very well. Like, I got quick success there, and they were, and like
in what was your position? What did you do?
A sales rep.
Oh, your sales
rep. I was in sales. So I was hitting benchmark after benchmark, and I was getting promoted, and they were giving me positions within the region to be a leader in some sections. Like, I felt like I had a really good gig there, and I was making good money. And then, dude, like, during COVID, we were all working at home. I became obsessed with real estate investing. Like, how am I going to get myself an income producing property, dude? And you know what? I used that. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to call Jordan. This gives me a good reason to call him. To tell him I'm investing.
Why did you want to call him? Like what?
Because he used to coach me in football. I had a good relationship with him.
Oh, he was your coach in football.
Yeah, so Jordan coached me in football. I'm also his son was a groomsman in my wedding, so I've known Jordan for a long time. But he coached me in football, and we were like boys.
So he's always been someone you've looked up to and been like, man, like
he was like the only real guy that I looked up to, like growing up there in Oak Park. So, so during that COVID time, I said, I'm gonna call him, or I'm gonna shoot him a text and ask him if I can call him. And so I said, hey man, I got a question about real estate investing, and he called me immediately when he saw the text, and then he goes, dude, I think you should sell real estate. He goes, what are you doing now? I go, I'm over at ADP selling payroll, and it's good. And then he was just like, I think you should sell real estate.
Just told you flat out.
Flat out. He goes, you have the personality.
Like quit your job and go be a realtor.
Yeah, he's like, I think you should sell real estate. Wow. And I go, I know, that sounds great. And hearing that from him, it's like fireworks. But then he goes, if you're serious about it, I'll let you come in my office and talk to me. And that was like, dang. I was fired up.
Wow. And listen, Jordan this isn't just like, any other, like just your average realtor. This guy's like what? The #1 realtor in all of Remax.
In the world.
Yeah,
bro. He's a stud.
And Remax is like, Remax. Like it's not.
I mean, Remax is the biggest real estate company in the world. Now there's different brand, like there's luxury, like the agency or whatever, and then you have Remax. But Remax is the largest real estate company in the world. But regardless of that, he's the #1 guy in the world. And if you know anything about Jordan, is that he does a lot of celebrities and a lot of athletes, and he's dominant in where he is. And so, and he's got the best personality. So like, yeah, when he goes, hey, I think you should, if you're serious, come talk to me in my office. Like he goes, take the weekend and think about it. And if you're serious, come and talk to me. Bro, I hung that shit up and I already wanted to go there right now. But I took the weekend to be, to play cool.
Yeah, to play cool.
Yeah, you don't want to,
That's funny. That's cool.
Yeah. And so, and then I went and then I sat with him at his office, and it was a 3-hour freaking thing. It was like on a Sunday, and I didn't know how long it was going to be. I sat there for like 3 hours with him, and it was like brought us right back. And it was just great. And so either way, I got my license. Once I got my license, I quit my job. And then once I got my license, I called Jordy and I go, hey, Jordy, I got my license. I'm ready. And he goes, all right, great. Well, I don't know what you're ready for. Call all the brokers and choose which one you like best. I was like, call the broker and choose. I go, what the fuck?
I like you best.
Yeah. I just quit my job.
I just quit my job.
Yeah. So either way, I did exactly what he said. I called every broker, Keller Williams, Compass, Remax. I did all my due diligence.
Yeah.
Obviously, out of something in me was telling me that I should definitely go with Remax no matter what, even if, maybe I'm not with him, but I should be in the same company with him, because if I can do well, at least I can show some success. He can hear about it if I'm in the same building, right? So I chose Remax, and I started off, and it was like the first week, and I'm starting to call the brokers, and
I think that's when I met you.
Dude, I think so too, because it was probably at the Northridge office.
No. I met you when you were in the Westlake office.
Oh, but right, dude. I wasn't back there.
But you weren't in his office. You were like in your own little cubicle area.
Yeah,
and you were just making calls,
bro. Just working out of it. Yeah, showed up every day. Because here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing. In our office, not a lot of people come to the office. The only one person really that comes consistently to the office every day is Jordan. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to beat him here, or try to beat him here every morning, so he can see me that I'm here working. So I just made it my mission. I just showed up, and I still do, every day in the office, 8 a.m. sharp, and I'm doing something, getting my prospecting ready, So it took like literally, and I had no. He would allow me to come back there if I have a question, knock on the door, see if I can do it. But it wasn't like
open door.
No, and knock and all that. And so so I just worked 3-4 months. And he came to my office. He goes, hey man, I got an extra room back there. You wanna? I go, you're fucking. Are you serious? And he gave me the room back there. And dude, it's like now I run my business out of his office. So it's me, Jordan, Chrissy, and Madison. And dude, it's I learned so much in there. I hear so much stuff. Like, you know, in real estate, you have a conversation for everything. So it's like, if you need to call your seller to have a conversation about reducing the price, it's been on the market too long, you know, market has spoken, reducing the price. Or if you get a request for repair and you got to present it, the buyers are asking for $35,000, you got to present that to the sellers, give the sellers their options of what they can do. Dude, when you're newer, you don't know how to have those conversations, right?
And you learn a lot of the times by making mistakes.
You learn making
losing
mistakes.
deals.
Exactly. So like being in there, and when it's time for me to have that conversation, I've heard it probably 20 times already, but I can tell them and say, Jordan, this is what I got right now. How should I present that?
Dang.
And it's helped me, you know, get through deals.
That's awesome.
So that's like your leg up is the knowledge that you get to learn in the business.
I mean, you're like gleaning off of, you know, the Kobe Bryant and, you know, real estate. So you're just right there learning, and you know,
there's so much
that's awesome. But you know what I love? I love that he made you work for it.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like dude, I totally went off of faith. I'm joining Remax. I started in the Northridge office.
Yeah.
Because I needed someone. The only person that would give me the time of day to like set me up, business cards and all that, was Jonathan Petralia in the Northridge office.
Jonathan's awesome.
So I knocked on his door. I didn't know who he was. I said, hey man, are you? I'm brand new. Can you, is there any way you can teach me? Like, are you looking for someone? I'll work for free. Like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff.
Sure.
And he was just like, sure, come in. And he was awesome. So he kind of grew me for a few months.
Sure.
And I was door knocking in Oak Park, and I was like, dude, I can't go to the Northridge office and then drive to Oak Park.
Yeah, it's too far.
I'm like, Jordan's over at the Westlake one. I'm going to go, and I'll just go from Westlake to there.
Yeah.
And that's why I made the move to Westlake, and that's when I met you.
That's when I met you.
Yeah.
But I love that. I mean, so many different things. Number one, you don't see that a lot anymore these days. The humility to come in to a situation and say, I don't know and I need help. But that alone already just shows what a great upbringing you've had, because what happens is that for people that don't grow up with that assurance in themselves, they think that asking for help is like demeaning, or they think that humbling yourself and being like, hey man, I don't know anything. Exactly what you just said. Those words are hard to, you know, to speak or to utter, because, you know, you're like, well, I don't want to be rejected, because if I'm rejected, it's like personal against me, you know? So I love that Jordan is like so much wisdom in that, because he knows that he could lie to you and make you feel like succeeding in this industry is like super easy and all by association. Like, oh, you know, if you know someone, you're going to be successful. But that is not the case.
No.
Because you can know someone and that person that you know will still go with somebody else because you haven't gone through a process. And that's where I'm getting at. I think the wisdom is when you go through a process, you're prepared to sustain what comes next.
Sure.
You're prepared to sustain the success that comes next.
Yeah. You pay your dues.
That's another way to put it.
Right?
Yeah.
But you're right. Dude, the thing with him is that he worked his ass off for his stuff. He started selling homes in Canoga Park and, you know, for 200 grand, 150 grand. Like, he's the last person that is gonna turn and make a young kid just give instant success. He's not like that. He wants it earned.
Sure.
And and who wouldn't agree with that, right? So like, and that's easy to see and understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's awesome, bro.
So
I love that.
Yeah. So it's good, but dude, don't get me wrong. Like, fucking grinding, working hard,
and you have to continue to.
Yeah. You have your day. I had lunch with my dad today. I go, Pop, I feel like I'm treading water. Like, I'm not moving forward. Like, I feel like, you know, I got money going out for my marketing. I'm hitting doors. I'm like, you know, scratching and crawling for everything. And like, you know, you got, my heels are in the dirt. And, you know, but those are, I feel like you have waves. So I'm going to feel like that now. And then, you know, a lead can be right around the corner. Get your momentum going. Yeah. Like I said, I got one going in January. So it'll, but that's part of this business. I feel like any successful person in this business has felt that.
Well, especially right now because of, you know, the market and where everything is at, you know, and, you know, it's easy to say it. It's easy to say, oh, there's a lead right around the corner. But when you're going through it and when you're treading water and when you don't see the momentum, that's really where...
Dude, it's like you're sprinting in the fog, but you don't see the finish line, or you don't know see where you're running towards right now. You know what I mean? You have a goal way down there, but you're trying to look for a checkpoint, right? Yeah. And you just don't see it.
Yeah. Well, because ADP does a great job of like giving you those benchmarks.
Yes, dude.
And celebrating those benchmarks.
And that's very important. That's very important. They're very smart. They give you benchmarks that are achievable and you celebrate it. Because, dude, if you start off with a benchmark that's not achievable, you're going to start out thinking, you're not successful. So it's very, like, that's a huge thing. Like, when I got into real estate, dude, I said to myself, like, this was my benchmark: sell one home your first year. If you could sell one home, you know, just get that, because who would use a realtor that has zero experience, like zero, other than a friend or a family that is gonna take a flyer on you.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I can get one home, and I got one.
Yeah.
You know,
that's awesome.
I got one from the open house. Yeah. And it came in November. It was like fourth quarter.
That's awesome.
So yeah, doing the benchmarks that are achievable and celebrating them.
I think that's very important because especially right now, I'm seeing a lot of people, you know, just discouraged. There's a lot of very discouraged realtors. Yeah. There's a lot of discouraged realtors. And so what you do is you look towards maybe other success stories. You grab onto some hope, because here you have maybe your wife telling you, you know, you're not bringing in a paycheck. Here you have your friends probably telling you, hey, you know what? They're hiring here. You should probably quit that. Sure. Yeah. It's tough.
And that's real. What you just said, that's realistic. People are probably hearing that. You know, people are probably thinking, I'm going to cut back spending here. Market's tough right now. So, yeah, man, it's...
Well, and then another thing is that if you aren't that good at managing your money, well, if you go through a really like dry season and you spent all your money, you don't have a choice. Like you have to go, do something, make ends meet.
No, dude, 100%. I had a friend when I started. His name is Daniel. Great guy. He's a little bit younger than I am, but it took a long time he's not in the business anymore. He's out, but it took a while for him to sell a home. And I remember he was spending a lot of money on marketing, going through his savings, and he ended up driving Uber like at night. He goes, dude, if I'm going to continue with this mailers, I have to, find something to supplement that. And so, yeah, dude, it is tough,
bro. But that's respectable.
It's respectable,
man. That's like, dude, you're it's part of your story.
100%.
It's part of your story.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. If you think, I'm not going to drive it, then you don't want it that bad. Yeah. Clearly, I feel like you got to have some humility with it as you go, right?
That's exactly what it is. I mean, and in reading your mentor's book, Jordan's book. Didn't he say that? He said that at one point, he's like, I have to sell my home here and I have to move over there. And it's a big old risk, but, he was like doing all these different things because, he had a bigger picture for what he ultimately wanted to achieve. But that's exactly what I see in you, bro. Like, even just hearing you speak and ever since I met you, like, there's no doubt in my mind that, bro, you're going to be one of the freaking greats, bro. Like you're going to do, and I'm not just saying that. Like,
no, I appreciate it.
Trust me, bro. Like I talk to a lot of people and I've gotten to meet and know a lot of people, bro. Like you could just tell, and there's these simple things, like humility, grit, just determination, fortitude, continue to do the fundamentals, bro. Like these are the things. So I'm actually excited to have these conversations like in 5 years and 10 years.
Oh, this would be great.
15 years, bro.
To watch this.
But it's funny because I see us, and I'm like, bro, we are the future, Jordan Cohen's. We are the future Keith's, Myers. We are the future, who's that one coach, the big coach, Tom Ferry's. Like, this is the generation that will soon one day
100%
be that, bro.
It's inevitable.
But it's inevitable, but who's gonna be hungry enough and who's gonna, sacrifice and who's gonna go through the thick of it when it's thick, when it's like there's nothing. We haven't gotten any paychecks, for 6 months.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the ones.
Yeah, no doubt. How do you celebrate your wins?
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? I feel like you're the type that's like the last one to celebrate himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like you always put other people before yourself.
Yeah, well, the thing is, bro, like, okay, so I didn't know how selfish I was until I got married. And then I didn't know how selfish I still was until I had my firstborn. And then I didn't know how selfish I still was until I had my second and then third and then fourth. So I think that, bro, maturing is growing in being selfless, you know? So whereas I do think it's important to celebrate, the way that I see and what keeps me going, bro, is, you know, being able to pay for my kids' private school.
Yeah.
Every month. Like that's a celebration right there, bro. Like paying for their public school. Oh, here's a big win, bro. Here's a big win. So
let's hear it.
I've been, you're gonna love this. So I've been building businesses for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Never owned property. Right?
Okay.
So I've been renting. I actually rent have I told you where I live? I rent, you know, Chris Williams?
Yes.
So I'm like her next door neighbor, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bro. I've been her next door neighbor for like 5 years.
No way. That's great.
She's a beautiful person.
Yeah, she's the best.
Her and Alan.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for her. She's a beast.
Bro, they're phenomenal people.
Badass, yeah.
Yeah, but just them as a family, they're just phenomenal.
The nicest people. Yeah, she picks up my phone call all the time. When you call Chris, she's like one of the top people in our company. Yeah. She's always giving me advice. She's great.
And she will, and bro, she's one of those pay it forward, but just very humble people.
Yeah.
So I've been renting from her. Bro, I'm in escrow. We're opening up escrow today on a property. Bro.
Really?
Yeah, dude. And it's a block away from there. So it's the neighborhood's like clean. Like, yeah, it's nice.
Wow.
And we're opening up escrow, bro. I mean, it hasn't closed. So
when did you open up escrow? You said today?
Today.
Wow.
Today.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. So it's a whole journey,
huge.
Bro. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like 10 years in the making, bro.
Dude, congrats.
It's 10 years in the making, bro.
Hopefully escrow goes good.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of like issues or anything like that. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Congrats, bro. That is so amazing. And dude, you're buying in a challenging time.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's just like, that's great to see. You know, it's crazy, Pablo. I feel like so many people, like my friend, how old are you?
37.
Okay. So I'm 28. But I feel like a lot of people my age are not even thinking, you know, about, I mean, 28 is really young to even consider, but I'm just saying, I think that it's tough right now.
You said you're how old?
28.
You're 28. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You act so much older, bro. Like,
really?
Yeah, dude. Like you're just, you know, like I love it, bro. I love it.
Dude.
I would say this. You act your age in a world where a lot of people don't.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. God,
it's tough, man. It's tough.
Nah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's hard getting your ducks in a row at a time like this. Bro, like me and my wife, like I said, we rent.
Like everything's against you, bro.
Dude, everything is right now.
Everything's against you.
Expensive.
In California.
Homeownership is like not even like fathomable.
Yeah.
Very tough right now.
Yeah.
And so, dude, but you're grinding. I got a lot of respect for you, Pablo.
Thank you.
You got 4 kids. You're grinding.
Yeah.
But you never went. You've been doing business after business after business.
Yeah. It's like every time that I have some money, like I'm just like, I get this business idea and then we invest in it. You know, like
dude, that's great.
We have this money. We're like, you know, it'd be cool. Having a studio. Okay. You know, so you know, it'd be cool.
Dude, honestly, you let me ask you, was this a good investment to get the studio?
Okay, so this goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning about being led by God.
Sure.
This was a decision that I know God led me to.
Really?
Okay, so well, I'll tell you this. So at the beginning of the year, my wife's praying, and my wife's like, you know what? I was praying, and I saw you having a passport, and I saw us buying a home, bro. Beginning of the year was like we were struggling financially, bro. Like last year was such a struggle for us. 35% down, 40% down.
Wow.
Yeah. And all the other businesses that we were building, bro, they're like, you know, they're still growing, you know?
Sure.
So like Gabby's staging business, dude, yeah, bro, it's all investing. It's all like buying furniture, getting locations, paying movers and doing all this stuff. So it's not like profitable. Our other businesses, they're just, you know, I mean, we've launched them. They're growing, you know? But they're not at a place where it's like super profitable. A few years, definitely, if we continue to, you know, push. But earlier in the year, my wife, she's praying and she's like, yeah, I see this passport. And then I also see us buying a house. I'm like, okay, love, you know, I was like, all right, cool. You know, it didn't make too much of it.
Yeah.
A few months later, someone comes up to me in a mastermind that I'm a part of. And she's like, hey, I need to create a TV show. She's like, I need to.
Oh, dude, is that what I've been seeing?
Yeah.
You've been like traveling across like the world, I think,
everywhere.
right?
Yeah, everywhere.
Filming.
Yeah. So she's like, hey, I was about to, sign this contract with a production company in Nashville. So, and then I'm like, wait, and then she's like, do you know how to do this stuff? Do you know how to, create TV shows and do all that? I'm like, yeah, of course I do. And then I'm like, I just bought these lights because earlier, the year before, I invested in all of these lights. Bro, this is like, it's a lot of money in lights. And, we had this space. We were about to let go of this space. So last year, I was sitting just right here, bro. And it didn't look like this. And I was about to let this place go because 35% down, 40% down.
Of course.
I'm trying to cut costs.
Sure.
I'm like, surely, Jess, you guys are going to work from home. We just have to get through this and just survive.
Sure.
These next couple of whatever. I don't know when this is going to turn around. It still hasn't, by the way, but
hey, at least you're real.
So then I'm praying here and I'm like, and I'm recording myself speaking, and I'm recording myself like just praying, and saying like, God, this sucks. Like, I feel like I'm failing. Like it feels horrible. That's when I get this idea of let's turn this place into a studio. And let's begin to offer, remember what we were doing? Like reels for people.
Oh, dude.
Like do reels.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, that's a great idea. So I went with it.
Yeah.
Right. And then I invested money into basically flipping this place.
Yep.
And basically opening this up. And that's when we got this next place, this next door place. So we got that. Bro, no realtor wanted to invest because every realtor is like, we don't have money right now, Pablo. We can't invest in making reels and doing all this stuff. So then I'm like, okay, well, this didn't work. So then I'm just kind of sitting and then I'm like, God, I thought you told me to invest in this. And like, I was expecting this to grow right away. I kind of feel like, like Jordan, like with you, like I got my license, now what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So then I have these lights and I have all of this stuff. And then fast forward to when this lady's telling me, I'm like, bro, I just invested in like studio quality stuff.
So you're like, I'm ready.
So I'm like, I'm ready. Like, let's do it. At first, she wanted to do stuff in the studio and just do it here in the studio. I'm like, that kind of sounds boring. Let's do this. Let's travel. Let's do like a kind of like a travel show. So anyways, it ended up being part of it gets filmed here, like on this couch. And it's a show that it's for a Christian network.
Sure.
But it's like a really big Christian network that we don't know anything about it here because it doesn't really air here. It airs like in the Bible Belt. So
what's a Bible Belt?
It's like they call it the Bible Belt states. So
what
it's
is
like
that?
states
is that like
predominantly like Christian
Utah?
No, not there.
Like
no, it's on the other side. It's on the other side. So it's like on the East Coast.
Oh, sure. Okay.
It's called Bible
I didn't
Belt
know
States. It's called Bible Belt States. So there's a network that airs there. So like TV, like so just
when does it air?
I think Saturday.
This Saturday?
It airs every Saturday. Like,
but has it been airing?
It's been airing for like the past couple of months. Yeah.
Has it been a hit? Like, has people been liking it?
Bro, there's like 1,000 shows on there and it went to like the top 20. I don't know where it's at now. Yeah, bro. Like,
no way.
Yeah, dude. So like what we do is like, she talks about like the Bible. She talks about like, different things.
That's crazy.
And then we go to like different locations. So we've been to New Zealand. We've been to Fiji.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've been watching you do that.
Went to Hawaii. We filmed in a lot of different parts of America.
I thought you were filming some like Natural Geographic type thing. I see New Zealand on my Instagram. I thought you were doing some Natural Geographic. Yeah. Like, what the fuck are these guys doing over there?
I'm telling you. And it's just so random. But you see how like it just worked out. If I didn't have these lights, if I hadn't done that investment, I wouldn't have been ready. I wouldn't have been ready. If I hadn't spent like my youth obsessing over, filmmaking, if I hadn't done all of that, like I wouldn't have been ready for this moment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be ready for this moment.
Would you say that was a big moment? Like for...
Well, bro, that set me up to be able to buy a house now.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
That's...
Because everything, like, I'm like, dude, I'm just investing this. Like, I'm not doing any other business right now.
Wow.
I need a house for my family. So
as you should. I feel like, wow.
But you see how like everything's like that, and that's what I'm telling you, bro. Like I don't know sometimes why. Like for example, this podcast, I don't know, but I do believe that I was praying, and I got this idea, and I kept praying about it, and I talked to my wife. I'm like I feel like this, and I just do it, and I don't know why I'm doing it, but then later on I find out, oh shoot, if I wouldn't have bought those lights. next year I wouldn't have been able to do that. And then in December, I wouldn't have been able to buy a home.
Yeah. What a great story.
It's a good story, bro.
That's a great story.
It's cool, man. But, yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy, man. How one thing can lead to another.
One thing leads to another. But it's the same in real estate. It's the same in business. But we're talking, I mean, you're a realtor. So you don't know the seeds that you plant. Like the times where you door knock and you have a conversation with that person and you don't know why you help them, fix something, in their house or whatever. You were just randomly there. Hey, can you help me lift this up and then put it over here? And then 5 years later, you're like, oh man, like now I'm closing a deal with this person. And I didn't remember I did that.
No, dude, it's like the universe putting things in play for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I always, it's crazy. When I sometimes door knock, when I door knock, as crazy, as weird as it sounds, like if I see a neighbor bringing in their trash bins, I'm helping them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's an easy way for me to say, hey, can I help you with this? Especially if they're older, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's a nice thing to do, a nice thing to offer. I always try to look for those little things like that while I'm out there.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to show yourself in a good light to these neighbors.
Yeah.
And that's an easy thing to do. So I always look for that, or if there's anything, or groceries out of the car or like something, but I got to be walking by them for like, groceries. I'm not going to be 3 houses down screaming, can I help you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like doing those little things are good.
So like, okay, like I'll tell you what, like for example, right now, as you're speaking, hang on. Let me look something up.
Sure.
Okay. So hang on. So check this out. Right now, as we're talking, I just remembered this Bible verse. It's in Galatians 6:9. And okay, hang on, let me look it up because I'm just remembering this right now, but it just makes sense and it fits. So check this out. Because right now I started thinking like, you went up to your dad today and you talked to him and you basically wanted some like affirmation, like dad, like, like tell me to keep going. Like, tell me I'm doing good.
Sure.
Tell me I'm doing well. Yesterday I was having a conversation with one of my brothers and that's kind of what I perceived that, he was kind of like in this place of like, man, like, this is tough. Like I'm treading water. And then because you're saying right now I'm door knocking and then I help people with their trash can. So right now I just thought of this. It just randomly came to me. So check out what this verse says. It says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. The Bible says that. So I'm thinking and I'm looking, dude, sometimes all we need as business owners, all we need as realtors or as people that are in this game, in this industry or whatever, is to keep going and to be encouraged to not get tired of doing good. Like keep taking the trash cans in.
Yeah.
Keep making those phone calls. Keep doing all that. Because if you do, then at the proper time, see, and sometimes like, well, I want it to be now. Well, no, it's in the proper time. Sure. You will reap a harvest. And a harvest is big. And that's what I feel like is going to happen. Like the people that continue to do good, what does it say? That don't become weary in doing good will reap a harvest if they don't give up. Now, if I'm speaking like just from what I see in the economy, I'm thinking that that's probably in 2 years.
Yeah.
But the harvest, bro, it can be huge if we continue to not become weary in doing good.
Dude, these Bible verses, I've never heard this many Bible verses ever. That's some good shit.
Yeah, bro. I'm just.
But no, it's great.
I didn't even have planned talking to you about all this, bro.
Dude, I know. We just got into some
me, bro.
We just got into some Bible. Yeah,
you're
Bible
inspiring
talk,
me, bro. Yeah, you're inspiring me, man. Yeah,
that's good. That's really good.
Yeah,
yeah, dude. Honestly, like I'm enjoying doing the podcast. This is like a fun. Yeah. This is a fun thing. Like I feel like in podcasts, people are thinking like, well, what should I say and how should I say it and how does it come off? But like really to have a good podcast, I feel like, and people to tune in is just to have a real conversation as if no cameras are going. Yeah. And like, I feel like we've been doing a pretty good job of that, about that.
Well, that's what I do. That's why I don't have anybody here. Like, and it's just, you and I, obviously, the girls, walking in and out.
Sure.
But bro, at the end of the day, what it is, dude, it's a lot of this doesn't get done. Because I think during COVID, people probably got used to like, hey, I'm living in my own world and you're going to live in your own world. And, this is this, because, X reason or whatever. And we just got used to that. And then B, I think it's hard because society right now just, wants to polarize us. It wants to make me against you and you against me. And,
It kind of does, dude. It's like rooting for other people's success is I feel like important, for the right people.
That's it. Yeah, you're right.
If you're a good person, like what I do is that like in the industry, word travels fast. That I worked in Jordan's office. Like realtors know who I am. I feel like because of that. I've met realtors at open houses. I introduced myself, never met them before. Hey, I'm Brandon. And they go, you work for Jordan, right? And I have to be like, no, I don't work for him. I run my business, but I'm associated.
If you mess with me, he's gonna knock you out. That's
I'll
what they want to
you
know.
over.
That's what they want to know. That's what they want to know.
But that associate. So either way, like I'll reach out to. There's a handful of really successful agents that are in the area, and it's important. Like Jordan's. Like you take everything you can from Jordan and you take it with you. But it's also important to hear how other agents are successful too, because each agent has made it a different way, no question about it. So like I have good relationships with some of the seasoned agents in the area, and I'll personally message them and or talk to them on the phone, and I'll just be very like open and say, I'll just be straight up. You are very successful in this business, and I see it. I'd like to, if you'll give me any little bit of time, I'd like to hear how you did it. And I feel like just my association, only because of my association with Jordan, but like they know who I am. And I feel like a lot of people are giving me the benefit of the doubt and saying, all right, I'll tell you what's going on and how I do it or what's worked for them. And I find if you take like bits and pieces from these people and you try to implement it, it's, anything you can get in this business to make sure you have an edge is important. And everyone does shit differently. So, I feel like I'm pretty good at learning from other people.
Yeah. But then again, you have to be humble enough to receive that from other people.
Dude, you have to be coachable. You have to be humble. You have to like understand that you got to be a sponge. Like you're going into a different beast. So if you go in thinking you're cocky or arrogant for a second, you're going to fall flat on your face. And that's just, I feel like being, like humble and going in as like a sponge and understanding that you don't know anything. I find it pretty easy to do that. Take your ego to the side.
Well, you have a good mentor too that, promotes that. And because, even looking at Jordan's Instagram, he's not about like the flashy, no, I'm gonna, hey, everybody look at me in my
He doesn't
Lambo,
even do videos of him talking. He's like the most humble person.
Yeah.
Like if anyone can be like gloating, he can be the one.
Bro, he's the number one guy.
Like he hammers that into me.
Yeah. That's
like
good,
you got to be humbled. Like not like I'm not humble, but he's just saying this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Humble, grateful.
Yeah.
Each opportunity you work for a client, you thank them.
Sure.
Manners, politeness, kindness,
100%.
and not just to your clients, but to other realtors.
Yep.
He's very like, it's easy when you're successful. It's easy not to like you because you're successful. So you have a target on your back.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Because you're successful.
That's very true. Like everybody's your friend as you're coming up. But then once you're at the top of the mountain, there's
they want to see how they're going to get there or do all that. But he's got the best relationships with agents in our area.
Really?
I mean, from what I see, like a lot of people respect him.
That's cool.
He's got the respect from the real estate community, but I feel like a lot of people like him. It's hard not to like this guy.
Yeah.
He's got like the best personality and he doesn't act like he's above anyone.
Yeah. That's cool.
So he's a good dude.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool to hear. But that's so cool that, someone that's successful, you can say that about them.
Yeah.
Because, there's, it's, you choose to be that way. You choose to say like, you know what, I'm not gonna lord it over people. I'm not gonna be like, this arrogant person that's going to be like, everybody else is beneath me.
Completely. And he could.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But to choose not to, I think is, it speaks volumes about you.
Yeah, it's commendable.
And it opens more doors for you, I think.
I think so.
I think it keeps you on top.
Yeah. No, I agree. For sure.